Okay guys, so here is a little bit of bell work. This is all from what we did on Friday. We're having to write the equation for these lines, and for each of them we want to write an equation in y equals mx plus b. So the first thing that we're going to do is identify where is the y-intercept. So here on number 22 I can see right away it's at positive 3. So I go ahead and put that in, and then the only other thing I need to do is find the slope. So slope is rise over run. I'm going down 1 and over 2. So therefore that the slope is equal to negative 1 over 2. Negative 1 over 2x. You plug your slope in. Let's try another one. On number 23, the y-intercept is at negative 3. So right away I know it's y equals something negative 3. The slope, don't forget, that's my rise over run. So I'm going up 1, 2, 3, 4 over 1, 2. So if the slope is up 4 over 2, that actually reduces to 2. So my equation would be y equals 2x minus 3. Let's try one more together. So on this one, the y-intercept is at 0. So right over here, I'm going to say plus 0, and then I need to find the slope. So to find the slope, I'm going down 1, 2 over 2. Since we're going down, it's going to be negative 2 over 2, which reduces to negative 1. So y equals negative 1x plus 0, or you could just say y equals negative 1x. And a third way to write it is just y equals negative x. You guys take some time and try 25, 26, and 27. Alright guys, this is also part of our bell work. This is a review of just graphing an equation in y equals mx plus b. Remember, one thing you could do is if you write the equation right underneath it, it makes it really easy to identify the pieces. So the y-intercept is b, in this case it equals 4. The slope is m, and in this one it's negative 3. Or if we want to see it as an equation, as a fraction, we can always make it negative 3 over 1. That gives me rise over run. So as far as graphing this goes, the first thing I'm going to do is plot the y-intercept on the y-axis right here at positive 4. And then I'm going to use the slope to get the second point. So I'm going down 1, 2, 3 over 1. And that's the next point. Remember, we always want to connect these to make our line. So extend that and draw the arrows. Alright guys, here's another one. I want you guys just to take a moment and you try to graph this one on your own. Again, the equation is in y equals mx plus b. So go ahead and try to graph that one. Okay, we are going to skip over this for a moment, so don't worry about this and move on to today's lesson. So this is problem 4. We're writing an equation from 2 points. And so this is something we did not do last class. It says, what equation in slope-intercept form represents the line that passes through the points? And it gives me 2 points. So it's kind of guiding me here. It's saying, okay, what must you know to write an equation in slope-intercept form? We need to know 2 things. We need to know the slope and the y-intercept. The next question is saying, well, how can you determine the slope of a line? Well, since they gave me 2 points, I'm going to use the slope formula. And so let's go ahead and take a moment and do that. We're going to do this step 1. Use the 2 points to find the slope of the line. Remember, I always like to label my points x1, y1, x2, y2. So my slope formula is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, negative 8 minus 1, all over 5 minus 2. So I'm getting negative 9 over 3, or negative 3. Now, in step 2, it says use the slope and the coordinates of one of the points to find b. So I'm going to use the first point, 2, 1. And so the y value is 1. M is the slope that we just found, And the x value I'm going to use is 2 from the first point. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to solve this for b. So 1 equals -6 plus b. From there, all I'm going to do is add 6 to both sides. And I'm going to take it up here. We're going to end up getting b equals 7. And so now I have the slope and I have the y-intercept. And all I'm going to do at the end is just plug them in. Y equals -3x plus 7. And there's my equation in slope-intercept form. Okay, so let's try another one. What equation in slope-intercept form represents the line that passes through the points 3, -2, and 1, -3? So right away, I'm going to go in and I'm going to label my points x1, y1, x2, y2. I just have 2 points. I don't have a slope, so we can't use slope-intercept form without the slope. So step 1 is let's find the slope. M equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Now remember, class, minus and negative is going to switch up to positive. So -3 plus 2 gives me -1. 1 minus 3 is -2. And a negative over a negative is positive 1/2. So I know the slope. Step 2 is, hey, let's go ahead and take that slope that we know and the coordinates of 1 point. For me, just out of habit, I always use the first point. So I'm going to start with y equals mx plus b. And what I'm going to do is where I see y, I'm going to plug in -2. Where I see m, oh, that really covers this up, I'm going to plug in 1/2. And finally, guys, where I see x, I'm going to plug in +3. So I'm going to get -2 equals 1/2 times 3 plus b. Half of 3 is 1.5. I'm going to use a decimal for now. And so to solve this, I'm going to subtract 1.5 from each side, and I'll get -3.5 equals b. That's all I need. Now I can go right into y equals mx plus b, and I'm going to plug in the slope from step 1 and the y-intercept from step 2. I'm actually, instead of saying plus, since it's negative, I'm just going to switch this and make this -3.5. Here is one I want you guys to try. Same thing. They're giving you the 2 points, and you have to try to find the slope-intercept form. Label your points, x1, y1, x2, y2. Find the slope. After you find the slope, you're going to pick 1 point and the slope that you found and plug them into y equals mx plus b. My y value, because I picked the first point, is 4. The slope was -1. The x value is -3. And now we're going to solve this for b. So 4 equals 3 plus b minus 3 on each side. And I get b is 1. So my equation, y equals mx plus b. The slope from step 1 is -1, and the y-intercept is 1. Okay, we have a little word problem here. It says a plumber charges a $65 fee for a repair plus $35 per hour. Write an equation to model the cost y of a repair that takes x hours. Now, they want me to do something into y equals mx plus b. So my b is going to be just a flat fee, which is the $65, and the slope is the 35. So it's going to be y equals 35x plus 65. All right, guys, that is it for the lesson. Please look to the whiteboard for the assignment for today, and I will see you guys tomorrow.